The feeling that they wanted was not more money. It was not being able to give extravagant gifts. The feeling that they wanted was to feel good and to feel godly and to feel happy and to feel unified as a family. Why else do we give and receive gifts but this feeling of community? And that is what they wanted. And they found the only real bridge that spans that gulf is godly life. And it is too simple in 2026 to hear that remedy for what ails us as a person, as a family, as a church, as a nation, to accept. It's too simple to accept.
Not far away from here lies a poor woman with a little newborn baby. 6 children are huddled into one bed to keep from freezing, for they have no fire. There is nothing to eat over there, and the oldest boy came to tell me they were suffering hunger and cold. My girls, will you give them your breakfast as a Christmas present?
They were all unusually hungry, having waited nearly an hour, and for a minute no one spoke. Only a minute, for Joe exclaimed impetuously,
I'm so glad you came before we began.
May I go and help carry the things to the poor little children?
asked Beth eagerly.
I shall take the cream and the muffins,
added Amy heroically, giving up the article she most liked. Meg was already covering the buckwheats and piling the bread into one big plate.
I thought you'd do it,
said Mrs. March, smiling as if satisfied.
You shall all go and help me, and when we come back, we will have bread and milk for breakfast and make it up at dinner time.
And when they went away, leaving comfort behind, I think there were not in all the city for merrier people than the hungry little girls, who gave away their breakfasts and contented themselves with bread and milk on Christmas morning. Little Women, novel by Louisa May Alcott.
So Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot, and stood at the door of the house of Elisha. And Elisha sent a messenger unto him, saying, Go and wash in Jordan 7 times, and thy flesh shall come again to thee, and thou shalt be clean. But Naaman was wroth, and went away, and said, Behold, I thought, he will surely come out to me, and stand, and call on the name of the Lord his God, and strike his hand over the place, and recover the leper. 2 Kings 5 verses 9 through 11.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm doing it. Little Women. I know it's not exactly, it's certainly a diversion from the 1984s and Charge of the Light Brigade. Great literature is great literature. I don't care. It's a great book. The relationship of personalities between these 4 daughters, being raised not by a single mother, but the mother is in the home by herself. This takes place during a war, the Civil War. And the father is a little too old for conscription. He's a little too old to be on the front lines, but out of duty, he volunteers to be a chaplain. So he is out and away from the home, and the family is certainly at a lower level financially than they were in the past. It is a time of war, so anything extra is going towards that movement. Find the beginning of this book, and I think a really, really beautiful lesson. And it's Christmas time, and it's a threadbare Christmas. There's just not. They've already decided they're not going to have gifts this year. It's Christmas morning. The girls have gotten together this play that they're going to do in the evening, but it's time for Christmas breakfast. And this was a big ordeal, but there just wasn't much to go around. And the girls come downstairs, and there's a spread, and they know the sacrifice that took. And it draws them closer together. This stuff affects me, not because it's a Little Women book. You can tell maybe I'm a little too drawn to this type of story, but you know, they know there's been some sacrifice to put what's on the table. And the mom comes back in from visiting a German immigrant family, a true single mother with 6 children. And the oldest son had told her how bad things were in the house. They all 6 children and the mom sleep in one bed so they don't freeze. There was no food, and she had been visiting with them. And she says to her daughters, in their moment, they could certainly look at themselves and say, we've got it rough. We need a cure for where we're at. We were at a higher station in life, and now we're at a lower station in life. We don't even have enough to get each other. But I mean, certainly they could be looking inwardly and say, we need a remedy. We need a cure. There's this ailment. There's something wrong in our family, and we could certainly use something to fix that. And the mom comes in and presents them with an unwanted cure, an unwanted remedy. And she says, there's this other family that's struggling. Would you sacrifice this Christmas breakfast for them? And it didn't take long. The book says only a minute. And they pipe up. They each start doing jobs. And now I had to abbreviate the quote. You get the question from the mom, and then you get the result. But I had to cut out the middle to where they didn't just donate. Okay. Here's the remedy. They didn't just donate. They didn't just say, yes, have someone take the food over to them. They started grabbing. They started working. They went over to the house. They not only handed the food, they served and made and interacted. It was a sacrifice not only of substance, but of time and person. And I love that line. It says there probably were not 4 happier children than those that went home to have only milk and bread. The remedy to the ailment of their lower station, of their having less, of this feeling, was an unwanted remedy. They would not have just wanted to give away their stuff. But it worked. It says there probably weren't 4 happier girls than those that were going home to have only milk and bread, because they had done a godly work. Now, this statement, this idea, out of all the videos we've ever done, out of all the lessons we've ever done, rings the most true to me in my life. And I'm curious if it does to you as well. Sometimes, most times, all times, the answer is too simple for us to accept. It's just not what we want. We get in these situations in life to where we want a fix to the ailment. I need, what do we all want but to be happy in life? Even if we say these certain steps above being happy, like I need a possession or a position or a person, this thing, what it really all boils down to is I want to be happy. Even when you say, I want to be in love, you want to be in the state of love, of relationship. I want to be happy. I want my kids to be, it's because you want to be in this certain position in life. And there's all these complicated, cures that are offered to us. Well, I gotta exercise 6 hours a day. You gotta get a 6-pack, and you gotta do this. You gotta be an alpha male, or you've gotta be a 2026 woman, or all these ideas of stuff. If you do this, you're gonna be happy. And there's a flaw in all of them, and we're going to point it out with this Bible story of Naaman. But the real answer is almost too simple for us to accept. And there's a reason, I think, why we don't accept it. It's not really its simplicity. Being godly creates happiness. And that's the cure. That is the answer. That is the unwanted remedy. Doing this act of charity in a novel, in a book, illustrates the feeling that they wanted was not more money. It was not being able to give extravagant gifts. The feeling that they wanted was to feel good and to feel godly and to feel happy and to feel unified as a family. Why else do we give and receive gifts? But this feeling of community. And that is what they wanted. And they found the only real bridge that spans that gulf is godly life. And it is too simple in 2026 to hear that remedy for what ails us as a person, as a family, as a church, as a nation, to accept. It's too simple to accept. But regardless, the cure is the cure. Naaman in 2 Kings chapter 5, the beginning of that chapter really kind of shades. There's this idea that tells us that sometimes the cure, okay, it has to, and those of you that are in the medical profession, feel free to chime in and maybe give me the right terminology here. But sometimes in the medical community, in Naaman's case, he had leprosy, okay, and God isn't just going to cure that leprosy. What we find shaded here is there are multiple ailments. And those ailments in conjunction are leading to this diagnosis of, okay, there's leprosy in this man's life. But it's not just the presentation of these symptoms of leprosy. God's going to get to the whole man here. Holistic, I think, is one of the words that God is going to treat the whole man. He's not just going to touch this outward appearance of leprosy. And Naaman at the very beginning in chapter 5, it tells us, I'll try to put it up here, that he is a captain of the host of the king of Syria. And you find the word in here, he is a great man. Now, Naaman knows he's a great man. And we'll see that illustrated here. And great men, great people, oftentimes look over simple solutions. And there's a reason for that. Naaman, through the course of an Israeli servant of the king, is eventually ends up at the doorstep of Elisha, the prophet who he has heard who could cure his leprosy. But he does not come empty-handed. He comes with gold and silver and raiment. This great man with a great price for an expected great cure. And Elisha doesn't come out to him. You kidding me? You mean I walked into this church and God didn't speak to me personally? I'm a great man. And I bring these great talents. I mean, they're not gold. Many of us don't have gold and silver and raiment. I know I don't. But I got this whole other list of stuff that I feel like that I have to offer for this salvation, for this cure, for this happiness that I want, for this experience in life, for this existence. I've got this whole list. I'm a great man. And Elisha sends a servant, a messenger to me. You're reading between the lines here. God sends a preacher. This guy who's got all kinds of problems, he's not that well spoken. He doesn't have a six pack like the guys on the internet are telling me I'm supposed to have to be a great man. He's not an alpha male. He doesn't have a $1 billion in the bank, or I didn't see a Ferrari in the driveway, or this guy. You just sent a servant to me. This cure is looking a little suspect to me, because it's not going to check this one box we're about to get to. Because I'm a great man. Great men expect great cures. And let's get to that reason I keep alluding to. Pride. I told you, God is not just going to treat the leprosy of this man. God takes hold of our person. Yes, our disease. Yes, our ailments. Yes, our shortcomings. He takes all that, but he also takes good of the things that we hide away and protect and love and cherish, our pride and person. He's going to fix the whole thing. And the servant comes out to Naaman and says, Elisha says, dip in the Jordan 7 times. Now here's the question for you. Does God need a river? Does God need all 7 dips in this dirty river? I'll try to put a picture of the Jordan up here. It's not impressive. Does God need all 7 of those? Could God not have done it in 3 or 2 or 6? Is God limited by that? Or is there a reason he's using this dirty river in this act of submission, not once, twice, but 7 times? God's treating the whole person. God doesn't need some dirty river. He doesn't need us to dip down a certain number of times. The cure is in being enacted, not in the power of the river or the power of squatting in water. He's treating that man's pride. He's going to fix Naaman, not just on the outside, but the inside. And we see this great man and this great problem expecting a great cure. And when he hears it, he said, it's an unwanted river. It's not what I wanted. It's what the girls could have said. It's like, no, we don't have enough. This isn't what we're asking for more, not to give away. Those girls went back, not a happier 4 than those having milk and bread for Christmas breakfast. And Naaman subjected himself and his pride. He repented. Even he was under the counsel of his own servants. The people that he is supposed to lead led him. Can you hear the humbling in between the lines here? I don't want your money. I don't want your raiment. I don't want your knowledge. I don't want your talent. I don't want your strength. I don't want all your accomplishments. In fact, those are the problem. Lay all those things down, walk to this dirty river, dip yourself 7 times. And at the end of it, he says, there is no God in all the world but the God of Israel. That man, before the cure, could not have said that. But the whole man got treated. And this is what the world needs today. This is what I need today. If you're hearing this and it's affecting you in any way, please let me be bold enough to say this is what we all need today. This simple cure. Too simple to believe. Too simple to, I put all my faith in that. And I'm grabbing and holding all these things in this world and it's making me miserable. I need a little bit more money. I need a little more of this. And I'm holding everything so tight. May God make me stronger to hold these things. And he says, well, the cure is to make you weaker and let them go. Give them to me. Surely that can't be it, God. Sure. My burden is light. Let me carry it for you. Surely that can't be it, God. And the reason we reject this simple cure is because it requires less of us. There is no notoriety. This great man envisioned himself coming back to Syria, cured, but saying it was through my own strength and talent that I was cured. I, this great man, walked in and demanded to be cured and paid for it handsomely with gold and silver and raiment. I did. Well, the story rings a little different. I went there. He wouldn't take my money. He didn't care about who I was. He sent a servant out to me. He didn't even see me. And he told me to dip in this dirty river. And I did it. Isn't this our testimony? This is my testimony. I walked into a church when I was 20 years old thinking I was something. And I tell you what, God crushed me. He crushed me among very humble people to where when I walked in that church and I thought I was something and I was somebody and I was somebody with a bunch of problems too. I didn't find the answer to those problems until I knelt at an altar and I humbled myself and I said, surely God, this is the cure. To give it all away, to just give myself up, to put my life in your hands. You don't have interest in my gold and silver and raiment? No. The rich young ruler in the parable with Jesus certainly is a hand in glove example of this as well. He came and said, all these things have I done from my youth. And God says, sell everything you have and give it away. All these definitions of your person that you just gave me. And all your possessions, says, because he was great. He had many possessions. let them go. I'm not going to make you stronger. I'm going to make you weaker. If any man love his life, he will hold it tighter. If any man love his life, he will lose it. This unwanted remedy. Does God need a river? No. But God's going to heal the whole person, me and you. And I, this week, am looking for that cure. I hope you are as well. I love you. I'll see you in 7 days. Bring it on Monday.